Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at Salty Ginger Talk. If you're a returning listener, great to have you back. If you're new to the channel, really glad you joined us. Hope you like what you hear. So, our podcast is for people that either want to learn something new or make themselves a little bit better every day. And in today's episode, we are specifically targeting this episode towards men, and we're going to talk about a very serious subject. That subject is we're going to give you 10 tips so you can not be a douchebag. So, kind of an epidemic of douches out in the world right now, and we want to help you avoid falling into that trap and learn to be a likable, regular guy that women want to spend time with, that guys look up to, that society places value on. So, public service, long overdue, and we're going to give you those 10 tips so you can implement them into your life and really change the way you interact with people. So, nobody wants to be that guy. Sometimes guys do it, don't know. Sometimes they do it and don't care, but you shouldn't do it at all. We just got to get rid of it. It's not making people soft. We're not talking about being a simp. We're not talking about any of those things. But people shouldn't hate interacting with you. And when you're a douchebag, people hate interacting with you. And we're going to give you tips on how to stop that from happening or prevent it from happening if you might be heading down the wrong road. So here we go. Let's jump into the tips. Tip number 1, stop talking only about yourself. Nobody wants to hear it. The guy that never asks a single question, runs his mouth all the time about his gym routine, his stock portfolio, the vehicles that he owns, his wardrobe, blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear it. You've got to stop running on and on about yourself. It's annoying, it's boring, and you're being a douchebag. Nobody else will tell you, we'll tell you. Cut it out. Instead, the next time you start a conversation with someone, ask 2 questions of them before you say anything about yourself. By the way, a great way to interact with women. Ask women questions about themselves and shut your mouth. While she's talking, every once in a while you say, "Really? That's very interesting. How did that make you feel?" Keep doing that over and over again. She's going to consider you such a good listener, guaranteed to get you more time with her. So, tip number 1, stop talking only about yourself. Tip number 2 goes right along with that. Don't be the loudest guy in the room. The volume of your voice doesn't make your argument any smarter. It doesn't make facts any more or less valid. And it doesn't make people like you at all. Confidence is not projected by volume. A well-timed statement, a quiet conversation, one-liner, those are great ways to interact with people. But if you're the guy running his mouth at level 10 on the volume button, I guarantee you people are like, when is this douchebag going to shut his mouth? Stop doing it. Show some confidence. Listen to people. Speak loud enough so people can hear you, but not so loud that they can hear you 2 counties over without a phone. All right? So don't be the loud guy. Nobody wants to listen to it. Okay. Tip number 3, stop flexing on social media. Nobody's buying it. We all know you don't own the Lamborghini. We all know that's a stock photo of a private jet that you've photoshopped yourself into, or somehow you've concocted an image to make it look like you're flying in a private jet. And even if you are flying in a private jet, don't be a douche about it. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody cares. You think you're important. We don't. Congratulations. Gym mirror selfies or selfies in general, don't do them. I'll tell you, let me give you a tip. Here's how a man should take a selfie. Hold your phone right about here in front of you, then lower a little bit further, and put it down, because nobody wants a picture of a dude. Nobody wants a picture of a selfie. That goes double for a dick pic. Women do not want to see your dick pics. I guarantee it. She might tell you she likes it because she's trying to be nice to you. She's stroking your ego. Nobody wants it. Keep it in your pants. Stop taking pictures of it. Nobody's impressed. So Flexing on social media, cut the shit. Rise and grind. Oh, I can't stop winning. Shut up. Nobody cares. You're being a douchebag. Cut it out. You're welcome. Okay, tip number 4. Don't be a one-upper. We call it a topper. So don't be a topper. So if somebody says, I caught a 12-inch fish, you didn't catch a 14-inch fish. If somebody says, I own one good car, you don't own 2 good cars. Somebody says, I ran 10 miles, you didn't run 12 miles. Shut up. You sound like an idiot. It shows such insecurity. It's the adult version of my dad can beat up your dad off the playground. Nobody wants to listen to it. So keep your war stories and all your braggadocious crap to yourself. Congratulate people when they do good things. When somebody shares information with you, just be happy for them. Not that hard to do. All right? Let them have their moment. Just appreciate it. Be their fan. Cheer for them. That shows a tremendous level of confidence. All right. There we go. Tip number 5. Act like a decent human being. So when you go out to dinner, be nice to the waiters and the waitresses. Tip well. Don't calculate down to the penny and, I'm leaving a 10% even tip and leaving a note on their receipt instead of a tip. Or, hey, here's a tip, brush your teeth. Don't be a douche. You're being a douchebag. If you can't afford to do that, go to McDonald's, go to Subway, go to somewhere where you're not at a restaurant where you should leave a tip or at a bar where you should leave a tip. Be a decent human being. Don't interact with people that way. You look cheap. You look stupid. Your date will resent it. Don't do it. It's a terrible way to go. All right? So that's number 5. Tip and act like a decent human being. All right. Tip number 6. Stop mansplaining and listen. So you've got to know your audience. So not every time a man talks to a woman is mansplaining. I know there's some people that like to spin it that way, but that's not the truth. We think back to the vice presidential debate, and one of the moderators asked a legal question of J.D. Vance, who graduated from Yale Law School, by the way. She's a reporter. He's a lawyer. I know he's not practicing, but he has a J.D. from Yale. I'm going to go ahead and say I want to hear his opinion on the legal matter more than I want to hear the reporter from ABC's opinion on the legal matter. So that is not mansplaining. However, if you try to explain wine to a sommelier, or crypto to a finance expert, or baseball to a professional baseball player, you're being a douche. Nobody wants to listen to it. You don't need to show your expertise. You don't sound smart. You sound like an insecure idiot. So stop doing it. So before you even start explaining something, ask, do they actually need or want to hear this? When someone tells me something I already know, almost always I just say thanks. Thanks. Appreciate the information. It doesn't matter that I already knew it. I don't need to say, I knew that. I'm already smart. You sound like a douche. You sound like an insecure douche with a short pecker. Quit doing it. Don't mansplain. Just listen to people. Interact with them in a normal human way. Okay. Tip number 7. Don't be a gym jerk. So, aggressive grunting, slamming down your weights. Look, if you're in a college football weight room, do your thing, right? You're around a bunch of other A-type personality kind of guys. If you're in an all-male gym, if you're in an MMA gym, if you're in a place where it's like oozing testosterone and there's no women around, do what you want. But at almost every gym, especially co-ed gyms, nobody wants to listen to it. Pick up your weights when you're done. Wipe down the equipment when you're done. Stop staring at chicks' asses and tits when you're in the gym. Quit doing it. You're being a douche. Nobody wants it. Put your weights in, put your weights back, put your headphones in, go about your routine, and in general, just don't be a weirdo. It's really not that hard. Now, the fitness influencers who think they own the gym, this is male and female, just because you set up a camera doesn't mean that you've staked out a 30-yard radius around you where nobody can do anything while you shoot your video. Nobody cares. You might have 100,000 followers. Good for you. They don't care. None of us care. That's what you look like when you slam the weights down or you do the big loud grunt. And look, we've been in weight rooms our entire life. We played sports at a very high level. And so we've lifted weights with professional football players, with professional baseball players. We get it. We know what that environment's like. You don't have to be a douche to get your workout in. Just get your workout in, Go about your business and get out. Not that hard. Okay. Tip number 8. Don't be the road raging traffic guy either. Honking at everybody that wrongs you, at least in your perception, they've wronged you. Weaving in and out of traffic, cutting people off, tailgating people, acting like you're an extra in Fast and the Furious. Unacceptable on public roads. I have 3 sons. I have a wife. I have a mother. I have 3 sisters. I don't want one of them to buy it because you're trying to prove what a macho tough guy you are. So we're all trying to get to where we're trying to get to. There's traffic lights. Obey them. There's stop signs. Obey them. There's speed limits. Stay somewhere around that speed limit. When someone's crossing the street, stop and let them walk across. Not that hard. You don't have to be the aggressive A personality, cannonball run, win at all costs a-hole when you're driving your car. If you everything goes right and all of these crazy machinations you go through on the road work, you get there 2 minutes earlier. So what? That's not worth risking a bunch of people's lives or acting like a douchebag. Stop doing it. Just drive your car, take your time, give people space, and don't be a douche. Okay. Tip number 9. Don't flake on plans without a real reason. So, bro, something came up. Dude, I flaked. You're not 12 years old anymore. You're a grown man. Act like it. When you say you're going to be somewhere, be somewhere. If you have a real reason for why you can't make it, communicate that to the people that you're supposed to meet. If you commit to it, show up to it. And if you can't, don't make excuses. Just tell the truth. If you don't want to go, just say, hey, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm not going. Don't do it 10 minutes before. Don't do it after someone's bought a plane ticket. Don't do it after someone has held a spot open for you that someone else could have taken. Once you commit to those kind of things, go and fulfill your obligation. And if you don't want to do it, give the right amount of notice so that you're not flaking on people and they can't count on you. Nobody wants to be around that guy. You know why? Because he's a douchebag. Quit doing it. Okay, tip number 10, and this is just a general statement, but it's 100% accurate. Don't be a creep. Don't be a creep. Staring at women, ogling at women, making unwanted comments. That includes texts. That includes DMs. That includes whatever format you send that message on social media. Ignoring clear rejection clues, clear social cues that she is not interested in you. Stop doing it. We think it's terrible. It's been a terrible loss to society. The rise of technology. So when I was a teenager, if I wanted to call a girl, I had to call a random phone number with no caller ID, and I had no idea who was picking up the phone. And if I wanted to talk to whoever, Patty or Susie or Jill or whoever it was, I had to be prepared for Patty or Susie or Jill's father to pick up the phone. And you bet your ass he was going to find out who I was and why I was calling if he didn't know me. And I had to be prepared for that conversation. So I had to learn to speak to him. I had to learn to speak to her mother. I had to learn to speak to her brother or sister. I couldn't send direct messages directly to her. I couldn't take a picture of my junk. Not that I would have, and I've never done that, by the way. Nor would I, because nobody wants to see your junk. Nobody. Even the person that's crazy about you and is willing to touch it whenever you want. They don't want to see it. They don't want pictures of it. Cut the shit. Pictures of women are beautiful. Pictures of dudes are gross. Nobody wants them. Live with it. Hate to tell you. Nobody wants to see them. So just don't be a creep. There's clear signals that women are telling you. They're sending them to you. Some of them are interested. Pursue those women. Some of them are not interested. Leave those women alone. Real straightforward. It's not as hard as we make it. If both people are not having fun, you're doing it wrong. If both people aren't interested, you should stop pursuing. Real straightforward. And women, gone are the days of playing super hard to get. He's not going to ask 3 times if you want to go to dinner or go to a movie. If you say no, guess what? You told us no means no. So the days of, courting and chasing, we kind of ruined those. It is what it is. This is what you wanted. You got to live with the new reality that you've created for yourself. So he asked, and I said no, hoping he'd ask again to show me he's interested. Nope, he's moving on. That's what I would do. Those are the new rules. The new rules are, I'm a misogynist jerk if I ask twice, so I'm asking once. You say no, got it. There's nothing wrong with me asking once. Now there's something wrong with me asking twice. I'm not going to do it. Same thing goes for you, man. Pick up the clues. When she's not interested, quit pursuing. Real straightforward. So that's it, guys. We make mistakes sometimes. There's times where our emotions get the best of us, or we want to look tough or cool or rich or whatever. One or two transgressions of these things is not going to put you over the edge and make you a social pariah. But if you follow these tips that I have so welcomingly given you, then you're going to be much better perceived by everybody that you interact with. So our suggestion or our challenge to you is to try to go a whole week without doing any one of these things. Don't be a douchebag in a restaurant. Don't be a douchebag on the road. Don't be a douchebag at the gym. Don't be a douchebag when someone else is talking. Try to go a whole week and see if you can do it without crossing the douchebag line. That's the challenge coming out of this episode. So if you're willing to take on this challenge and if you're willing to implement these techniques in your life, we guarantee you your social life will pick up. Because if you're doing any of these things, no one else will tell you. We will tell you you're being a douchebag and you want to stop doing that. All right, guys, that's it. It's the episode for today. Really appreciate everyone checking us out. James puts it up right over there every day. We've got a website, saltygingertalk.com. All of our podcast episodes are available on there. Links to all of our social media accounts are available on there. And then we've got a newsletter that we publish every weekday that you can subscribe to on our website. It's funny, short read. We do 3 current events, a quote of the day, a tip of the day, quick 5-minute read to start your day off right. Subscribe to it. It'll put you in a good mood as you go out to face the world. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to our podcast on whatever platform you consume it on. We really appreciate it. It's helpful for us if you can do that. Everybody have a great weekend. This is a Friday episode for us. We've got you set up perfectly going to the weekend to avoid being a douchebag and really kind of kick your social life up into the next gear, or level up, as the kids today like to say. All right, guys, that's it. Everybody have a good weekend. See you on the next episode.